Welcome to another edition of the Giants Huddle podcast, brought to you by Citizens, the official bank of the Giants. We're off to Germany for the Giants game in Munich against the Carolina Panthers. The Giants' first ever game in Germany. We're leaving on Thursday night, arriving on Friday morning. And this season, to reach fans in Germany, the Giants decided to bring on Markus Kuhn. Remember, Germany is the Giants' home market overseas, so we thought it'd be wise to reach out to those fans with a former Giant that was born and raised and started playing football in Germany, and Markus Kuhn. So he's doing a lot of content in German language stuff to reach out to those fans. Obviously, he knows a lot about the team as well. So we had a chance to talk to Markus about the trip, the team, and German fans, and exactly what this German market is like for the Giants. All right, and now we welcome in our first guest of today's podcast. That is Markus Kuhn, former Giants defensive lineman. He's been with us this year, getting us ready for Germany and a lot of German outreach to German fans and everything like that. Markus, first of all, how has it been kind of being back with the Giants on the media side, trying to bring in some of our German fans as the Giants have brought Germany in as our home market abroad?
No, it's great. I mean, I have such good memories with this organization, right? I had an unbelievable time as a player. Then I joined the Giants for almost like 2 years and then looked into various roles in the front office. So this is kind of my third time back now in this role. And obviously being from Germany and the NFL growing in Germany the way it does or has been. And now the Giants actually being part of it and even playing there. It's almost like a surreal full circle moment for me.
What are some of the things so fans understand that you've been doing for the Giants, trying to connect with some of our German fans?
Yeah, so I mean, first of all, it's good to understand what the NFL is doing in general, right? They identified multiple markets all across the world, and then they allowed teams to have the same rights as they have in their domestic market, like the Giants have around there in the tri-state area, where they can do own activations, they do some own partnerships, sponsorships, marketing in the region, and yeah, now teams are allowed to do that also internationally. And then the Giants, fortunately enough for me, and also I think smart enough for them, they picked Germany as that market because football is such a popular sport now in Germany. It's the second most watched TV sport in Germany, just behind soccer. And I kind of support them in a few things that they're doing, mostly on the digital side when it comes to content, because this is a lot of times the easiest way to approach a new fan group, just to show them behind the scenes what's actually happening in a football organization and teach them more about the Giants.
Yeah, look, I'm excited about it too. Both my pairs of grandparents are all from Germany, so I've never been before, so that gives me an excuse to go there and check it out, which I'm really excited about. You mentioned that second most watched sport besides soccer is American football. Why do you think American football is so popular with Germans?
I mean, I'm not 100% sure why exactly we're so fond of American football, but I think it's such a different sport than we're used to. But I mean, Germans like sports in general, but we also, I think we like the very tactical aspect of it. Back in the day when we had the NFL Europe, it was actually the NFL Europe, but then by the time it was more like the NFL Germany in the 2000s and early 2000s, because 5 out of 6 teams were in Germany. And that kind of shows even back then that Germany was a very good market for the NFL and for American football in general. And that just kind of became stronger and more like this. But I think, Germans like the physicality of the sport, but then also like the tactics and the coaching behind it. You have to be very disciplined, very detail-oriented, which I feel like are a little bit of German customs as well. So maybe that's the overlap.
Yeah, it could be. So the NFL went out there last year for the first time. What was the reaction?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. I'm sorry, you're right. Yeah. What was the reaction from the German population getting to go to the games and just what the demand has been for games out there and fans trying to get tickets to these games?
Yeah, it was kind of 2 years ago. It was the first game at the Allianz Arena in Munich in the stadium, and they call it the Munich Football Stadium, I think, for this because Allianz is not a partner of the NFL. But they had the first game there, and I mean it was just Tom Brady coming to town, right? So obviously big names, a very good team came, and it was an unbelievable atmosphere, and there was millions of people trying to get tickets to that first game in Munich. And then last year, I think we had, even for the Chiefs game, we had over 2 million people trying to get tickets. And then the Patriots game even had like over 3 million. I think it got more and more. And I think now people realize it's kind of impossible to get tickets, so it dropped off a tiny bit. but still, it was like over 2 million people trying to get tickets for the
Wow.
Giants Panthers game, and that just shows you how kind of crazy football fans are, that they will sit on the computer in the queue, 2 million of them to get tickets to this game.
You mentioned where the stadium's taking place. FC Bayern. I don't think Americans understand the cultural significance of that football club in Germany and why it's so important to playing at that stadium. So why don't you kind of give Americans a feel for why FC Bayern is so important to Munich, to Germany, and the significance of playing in that building?
I mean, it's historically the best soccer franchise or club in Germany and one of the top clubs in Europe. So a lot of traditions. It feels like they win the German championship every single year. Last year they didn't get lucky again, so it was another team that did it. But they're playing in the most modern, biggest football stadium or soccer stadium for them in Germany overall. So for that game to come to Munich, to the stadium overall in that region, it's great. And also, I feel like if Americans think about Germany, that's kind of, they're more thinking about in their mind, they have more Bavaria and stuff like that.
You're ready for a change. Payday comes early with Citizens, so go to that retreat. New you moves to the country. Now you're raising goats and launching a lifestyle brand. Are you ready for all that life brings?
Absolutely. So I know you're doing some work. I'll be going out there Thursday. You're going to be in Germany even earlier in the week, getting ahead of us and doing a lot of stuff with fans and stuff like that. I know you have some like football 101 stuff planned to try to teach the people more about football, but based on what you're telling me, a lot of these guys are pretty locked in, right? So how are you trying to spread kind of the rules and some of the finer details of American football to maybe some of the German population that isn't quite as locked into American football as they might be to soccer?
Yeah, and then I broadcast games in Germany as well. So the audience there obviously is a little different. You have to educate a little bit more. You can't go. I mean, we're not talking about coverages and certain offensive concepts and things like that. Like, we're trying to educate them, but also entertain them. And I think that's the same thing for the games. Like, a lot of times there's a good amount of fans obviously that know what's going on and know the gist of it and know most of the rules and everything. And there will still be some when you throw a flag, like, what's that yellow flag doing on the field all of a sudden? And why is there another one and stuff like that? But overall, people have a very good understanding. And I think especially the ones that make it in the stadium most likely know what's going on. But I think different cultures and different people have a certain or have a different appreciation about sport as well. So I was just in London for the London games, and I watched the Premier League game. And even people in the UK, they cheer differently for soccer than, for example, in Germany, right? They cheer for like a tackle and just the effort alone. And in Germany, that's like another thing. And I think that's the same thing for American football. So American football fans in the US, they cheer for kind of different things than sometimes what happens in the games in Germany.
Now, obviously, it's a little bit different, right? Because when they play in England, it's English speaking, right? So German, they might be more into. I think they're probably more into American football in Germany before we went to England than they were there. But you also have a large American. You also have a large American military presence in Germany, right? There's a lot of bases out there, so there's a ton of American expats that I imagine are like, "Oh man, I got a chance to go to an American football game," and they get pretty pumped up about it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's one thing, but I mean, it's mostly Germans that are going to the game.
That's good. That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, it really is, and I think a lot of Americans that have been they maybe had a chance to go back here and kind of watch an NFL game there. But most of the Germans in the stadium, they've never seen an NFL game, and that's their opportunity. That's why it's so important to have games internationally, just to kind of reward those fans, bring the NFL a little bit closer, because unfortunately for a lot of them, it's impossible to ever make it to the US.
Now, obviously, there's a lot of logistics to figure this out, but if the NFL ever decides that they want to have like a European division or something like that, I got to imagine Germany could probably support at least one team. It's a big country. You could probably get one on the Western, one in the East too, right? I imagine Germany can probably support a couple of teams if they needed to.
Yeah, one in the North, one in the South. I mean, it's Germany is the biggest and the most attractive market for the NFL. I think internationally, even. I mean, especially in Europe. Yes, in London and the UK games, or now we're talking about Ireland. Like that, there are football fans, but just population alone. I mean, we have over 80 million people living in Germany, like over 100 million in the DACH region, in the German-speaking region. So there is there's a lot of humans that can be football fans, and obviously, like, it's a lot easier to go around continental Europe than sometimes fly to the island and stuff like that. So, if they will have a European division, I think we're definitely in the race for at least one team.
All right, tell the fans some of the stuff that the Giants as a team and organization are doing out there in Germany. If Giant fans are out there, if they're traveling out there, if you already have Giant fans in Germany, what are some of the things that the Giants are doing where fans get a chance to, get closer to the team, interact with the team a little bit while we're out there?
Yeah, the Giants doing a lot, actually. So they're coming not only for the game. They have a group of people coming way before the game, and obviously the team and the team planes. They get there Friday, have a walkthrough, and then pretty much Saturday get ready for the game, play Sunday, and leave. But there's a lot of people from the organization that come in early. I mean, we have a football clinic there on Wednesday, just to kind of help grassroots football development. That's maybe not so much fan facing, but every team actually. So there are 10 teams right now that have marketing rights in Germany. They all have their pubs, so even that's interesting to check out. The Giants are at the Hofbräuhaus in Munich, so that's like one of the most famous ones, the beer hall. So always interesting to check that out, see what the Giants are doing there, and also eat some German food, maybe have some German beverages as well. And it's always a good experience. So there's another event on Friday and Saturday night. So I think there's the whole city of Munich is kind of painted in red, white, and blue, and there's a lot of American football experiences you can participate in.
You love turf. You're good at it. So you start a turf biz. Business grows. Your savings grow. Become the most celebrated name in turf. Are you ready for all that life brings?
Yeah, Giant fans should go to Giants.com. They can check out where everybody is. And you mentioned the Hofbräuhaus. Like, that's a historical. The fact that they're like branding that for a football team, to me, seems like a pretty big deal, given the historical significance of that pub.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge venue. They make their own beer. They even have one in Las Vegas right now. I think they even have one in New York. So they kind of branched out, but yeah, it's a fun place. You sit on these big beer banks, like it's all these big wooden tables, and it's easy to make some friends with Germans or other tourists that are visiting town right now. So it's definitely worth a trip.
You mentioned the clinic. I'm curious, how much is American football catching on with the younger Germans to actually play it and not just watch it?
Yeah, I think we have like over 70,000 people playing American football in Germany on a recreational level and pretty much for fun, and then just men and women meeting up and club teams and enjoying themselves and playing football, just pretty much for the heck of it. And that is one thing, but we're trying to get younger people to the sport. I mean, there's a big flag football initiative in Germany as well. I mean, we have to get the Team Germany ready for 2028 for the Olympics. So trying to get more people to play flag football, boys and girls, obviously. And then try to do a little bit something, obviously, for tackle football as well, that maybe they will be in the next Markus Kuhn coming from Germany and playing in the NFL. That's the goal.
We love to see it. And finally, Markus.
Hopefully even better than this. Yeah.
Full disclosure, we're recording this before you leave for Germany, so this is before the Commanders game. But as a former defensive lineman, I got to give you a chance to talk about this Giants defensive front line a little bit and how they're getting after the passer. How much fun is it for you to watch these guys go to work?
Oh, it's the best. I mean, I'm in the office, so at the training grounds every Wednesday, and I'm in the locker room and do some stuff for the media as well. So, but I talked to Dexter Lawrence. We became close, and I talk to him almost every time I'm in there. And I said to him this past Wednesday, watching him play in the NFL reminds me of when I played in Germany. I was just bigger and stronger than everybody else on the field. And I made these kids look like little kids, but they were little kids. Dexter does it in the NFL level when they're grown men and they're very strong. And it is kind of insane how he moves other people out of his way and they have no chance of doing anything. And it seems like every play. I mean, I know what it takes to fight against these guys on the offensive line, and it's not easy. And he makes it look so easy. It's really unbelievable. And then you have some great guys on the edge, and they can rush the football. So, I've always enjoyed watching the Giants defense.
Yeah, I mean, Dexter's just one of a kind. It's really
he is one of one.
He is one of one,
and a great person. So I always it's always good if good guys are also good players. That's what you want.
Marcus, we can't wait to arrive on your home turf a little bit later this week. Can't wait to get out there and see and hang out with you. Thanks for doing everything you're doing for us, man. And we can't wait to experience some German culture with you next week.
Perfect. I'm excited to see you guys in Germany.
Great stuff from Markus Kuhn. I mean, I've known Marcus a long time. I was obviously here covering him when he was with the Giants. Fantastic guy. He's done great work for us. It's great to have him on our team talking to our fans in Germany. I can't wait to get up there to Munich to meet some of the German fans out there. It's always a lot of fun to be out there and meet some of these big-time Giant fans. And something tells me that that stadium will be packed with a lot more Giant fans than Panther fans on Sunday morning here, Eastern time, Sunday afternoon, Munich time. Thanks for being with us in the Giants Huddle podcast, brought to you by Citizens, the official bank of the Giants. We'll see you next time, everybody.